news and
and a Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, my lovely audiences. Welcome to the East West Show. That is exclusively sponsored by Wolfers, the Belgian royal family designated brand of jewelry with 400 years of glorious history and hand-forged by 10 generations of number one craftsmen on the global earth. Together, they represent a testimony to the spectacular and the share of their royal glory. Back to the show. Show today with my friend, Mr. Ken Hemming, who for quite some time you haven't seen because of his vacation, finally back from. So welcome back, my brother.
Jack, I can't be happier to be back here. I missed you so much, and I miss your viewers even more.
Oh, so did I. So did everybody, right?
Yeah,
Good.
I'm happy.
How was the vacation?
Well, I had a beautiful trip with my sister for 18 days. We went to Philadelphia. We saw where the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution was signed, where Abraham Lincoln laid in state. We went to Gettysburg and Vicksburg, where thousands of our young men died in the Civil War. It was all about the birth of America, the Civil War, and World War II when we visited the World War II Museum in New Orleans. So basically, I've lived 18 days just feeling the soul of America from birth to today. And I'm so honored to have done that.
So, we
Very
called it
deep
a
emotions.
significant trip.
Phenomenal dream.
All right. How many
Phenomenal
days
dream.
altogether?
18 days, and it's just, you learn so much about America when you go to where it all happened, okay? I hadn't been to those places before. Went to Monticello, where Thomas Jefferson, had his house, which is a phenomenal mansion. Also, over his 40 years living there, 600 slaves came and went, and they talk about that all the time. I've been in the cabins where they stayed and whatever, and so you'll see these beautiful big plantation mansions, and then slave quarters out here. And I pick cotton. I got to pick some cotton. The South, I like the South a lot. Okay, it's a very, very well integrated society, and they treat each other with great respect.
Last Sunday, I went to SeaWorld in San Diego.
Did you get wet?
I saw, I got very wet. I saw the huge crowd,
Good.
There on the whole day. Every kind of spot
Yes, sir.
was kind of crowded. The waiting line was extremely long.
I'm not good at waiting in line.
The waiting line is very, very long.
Yeah.
And we had this band on the wrist we paid for
Yes, sir.
VIPs,
Yeah.
but still we have to wait.
Right. Yeah.
And there are more VIPs. There are probably equal VIPs than non-VIPs.
Yeah.
So all the whatever Ps have to wait. All right, so with the line. And I did think of that very moment, though, to the young people, I look around.
Yes.
Right? Do we see the same crowd of young people at the museums that you went?
Well, I would say there's, like, for my generation, okay, there was much more emphasis based on history and understanding our country, understanding our Constitution. And now with social media, I think these young kids are more interested in playing a game on a cell phone or something than they are in learning about America. And also,
When I say
think our
young
school
people,
system.
when I say young people,
Yeah.
I mean teenagers. I'm
Right.
talking about 10
Right.
to 18.
They're smart, right?
10 to 18.
They have a brain.
When I look around the SeaWorld, I see them. I did have the thought about if we have the same kind of crowd at those museums, such as museums you went.
I don't think we do, because
Yeah.
the whole education system back then, we taught a lot of history. We talked a lot about freedom. We talked a lot about liberty in schools, okay? Now they don't even teach American history, and they don't teach physical education. That's why we have so many people in such bad shape, too, because nobody's working out or playing sports as much.
That's exactly the concern.
Yeah, it is
That's
a huge
exact
concern.
right?
Yeah.
For young people, for this generation and the generations onward, though, they do see the freedom, they do see the benefit, and everything that they enjoy. Never or seldom the chance that they learn the cost of having
The cost
it.
of our freedom and liberty.
The
Right.
cost of the freedom, the cost of liberty.
Right.
So best way is that if someday somehow I see or people see the same kind of crowd
Yes, sir.
of young people at the museums, the historical museums,
Right.
right?
The soul is different of our youth right now.
We will
because
probably
of the
be better
change
off.
in our
We'll
education
be
system.
probably be better off that way.
In the old way, not
I
the
mean,
current
in the
way.
old way, in the old
Yeah.
way, in the old way.
100%. And people, we have more and more people coming in legally and illegally into our country, and I think you have greater, a lot. I have a lot of pride where I go anywhere, but I'm born here. I have pride in America. This is my home, okay? And people that then just come in here with good reasons to legally, hopefully. They're coming here for freedom, but the freedom is being diminished a bit.
Yes, this is exactly the worry. This is exactly the concern.
I agree.
And there are less and less and less people talking about the cost of our freedom and the liberty.
Yes, you're right.
Right.
And they're
And there are
complaining
more
about
and more and
America.
more
Yeah.
people, even people from elsewhere,
Yeah.
coming here to enjoy it,
Yeah. In
which
our-
I have no problem with. But without knowing the cost of it,
Right.
how much we have paid for it,
Right. Your
this is
pride,
really something.
your appreciation for the cost of our freedom.
Yeah.
You go back to the Revolutionary War, Jack, I was right there where they signed the Declaration and the Constitution. All these men, at that time it was men that were in that organization, they were essentially signing a suicide pact because many did die, okay? They knew what they were signing would change their life forever.
And they knew they were going to die.
patriots.
They were willing to die.
They were willing to die. Exactly.
Exactly.
And I'm so proud of them. And when we have 620 to 750,000 young men and women die in the Civil War to eliminate slavery, look at the cost of that.
Now that we're a little bit away from Thanksgiving.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Coming up.
So the previous night, I taught my daughter a lesson of Thanksgiving. I told her, of course, the story of how Thanksgiving came.
Yes, sir.
But more significantly is the spirit of Thanksgiving
That's right.
for human
It's
beings.
called thanks.
For human beings, without a mind of Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
you are not qualified to be a human being.
Yes, you need to, like, I have dedicated for the last 2 years every breath I take to appreciating life, what I'm able to live in America, and it's your oxygen tastes so much better when you appreciate it. Because I know I'll have a last breath, Jack. I will be gone, and I always think about what will I miss too. So that's why when you focus on appreciating, like I'm appreciating sitting here with you right now so very deeply. I can't put it in words.
But nowadays, what you see more is that people so the eye-centered.
Yes, sir.
Everything is
Eye-centered,
iPhone,
right.
iPad, iChat, whatsoever.
Right, yeah.
Everything is eye-centered. Seldom do they think about how the eyes come from.
Well, and there's so much
Where the eyes come
anonymity in
from.
social media where, like, we're talking to each other face to face. If we were just texting, it's not the same experience.
We are the transaction generation that we know both.
We know that's right.
Right?
You're right.
What if, like 20 years later
Yeah,
or
when
30
we're all-
years later,
yeah,
when
right.
we are all gone,
And no one knows.
and nobody will know that part.
That's a very
Nobody will know that
brilliant,
part. That's a
point.
very risky thing, very dangerous thing.
very brilliant point. And we somehow have to, because the social media, I mean, that's where anonymity allows people to say hateful things and do hateful things without punishment. And it's I don't know how to overcome it. And AI, artificial intelligence, might make it even worse.
But the thing is obvious. The issue is so obvious that our young people getting less education about our history.
100% true.
Yeah.
So much
and
less.
Versus the fact that in 1958, I guess 1958, the Defense Education Act.
Okay.
Do you recall that?
Not perfectly.
Yeah. But Russia did their first satellite.
Yes, yes, yes.
They made a satellite,
Oh, yeah,
right?
Yeah, sure. Of
And
course.
the United States was left behind.
Yes.
So they rushed with the education.
Yeah.
They blamed the traditional education for being too old. So they want to do the defense education.
Okay.
Tilted to defense.
Yeah.
Tilted to everything, something or everything cashable right now.
Yes.
Cashable right now.
Yeah.
So that leads a concept of no moral teaching,
That's
no
right.
value teaching,
Ethics,
which
integrity,
includes
morality.
history teaching.
Right, right.
Right. So that is totally wrong.
And they're not teaching morality, ethics, and all that in schools. You know, I have that book out, which is all on a personal value system, which is all about the characteristics one should have to live a quality life in a simple way. And
After all, in one word, I'm worried.
I'm scared to
I'm
death.
very worried.
The only benefit I have is by the time if we lose the beauty of our country,
Exactly.
I'll be in heaven.
Exactly.
And
All
I
right.
won't be living it, but my daughter will be, and her children will be.
All right. My dear friends, with Ken Hemming, Mr. Ken Hemming, a special commentator for the East West Show, we touch base with you at the time of Thanksgiving, or almost Thanksgiving, how we want to be thankful or learn to be thankful to where we are, who we are, and what we are, because we went a long way. We paid dearly for what we are today. So we take a moment out, and we will come back to continue with the bi-weekly update. Stay with us, please.
Let me get a couple of my pills here.
Everything is expected to change. It's like it seems wrong way.
My name is Paul James. I host the news.
And a Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, lovely audiences, my brothers, sisters. Welcome back to the East West Show that is exclusively sponsored by Wolfers, the Belgian royal family designated brand of jewelry with 400 years of glorious history and hand-forged by 10 generations of the #1 craftsmen on earth. Together, they stand for a testimony to the spectacular and a share of the royal glory. That'll bring us back to the show. With me today is my dear friend, Mr. Ken Hemming, a special political commentator who is here on their bi-weekly update. Of course, for the past few weeks, due to his vacation, during which he had a good time.
Beautiful.
We miss him a lot. Now he's back on his first show before Thanksgiving to continue another round of a year.
And may I remind you of one thing, Jack? Today is the 250th show.
Oh,
We have
today
done
is 250. All right, very
Thank
good.
your audience for their tolerance.
And speaking of the 250, this East West Show, including his 250, has reached 1,370 shows by November the 15th.
Jack, so proud of you. You are a brilliant
And you
communicator.
did 250 of them.
It's a miracle, isn't it?
Or
tragedy,
by
whatever.
then 249,
Yep.
but now 250 of them.
So proud of your history.
And that's such an achievement. I call it a landmark. I call it a milestone, because for a person in one lifetime, you may have done something positive, but to do something so positive with 1,370 times, though, you really
It's
feel
huge.
proud of yourself.
Yeah, you should have great pride.
Sure. Thanks. Once again, we're talking about Thanksgiving. We should give the appreciation to EDI,
Yes, Mr.
the
Sue.
platform,
Absolutely.
and to the founder, Mr. James Sue
Absolutely.
of EDI, who provided the forum, the platform
Yeah.
for us to sit here continue talking about what's right and what's wrong.
And it was a blessing that you were the one chosen
Thank
to
you
run
very
this
much.
show.
Thank you very
And I
much.
just want to highlight two little words. Your brilliance and humility are very, very important.
Thank
to
you
me
very much. Thank you
and the
very
world.
much. That I give my special appreciation, special thanks, special gratitude to my guest, my friend.
That's true.
My
All of
guest
them.
host, and everybody of them, including
Yeah, right.
Mr. Ken Hamming, without whom this whole thing would not be even possible.
Well, we're blessed.
And for that, as a token of the thanks, and the event will be held on the November 26th, which is Tuesday, at the EDI Center to celebrate the 1370
Absolutely.
shows landmark.
Yep,
Right.
absolutely.
And I believe that Mr. Ken Hamming is invited, and some of other guests are invited who are available, right? A lot of them who are among the VIPs, but not available for that day.
Yes, sir.
But whoever they are, they will be here together for the celebration.
Yeah.
And so as a token of our appreciation, my appreciation, EDI appreciation, we want to gather these friends of ours for some good time.
It will honor you and your fine network in Mr. Sue.
And we will honor every single one of the VIPs presenting at the event with a plaque of honor,
Hallelujah.
including you.
Yes.
All right, good. Okay, that's it. We have a country to worry about. We have a whole nation to worry about. And we have two parties to worry about. We have big issues to worry about. And we are a worrisome country or bunch of people at this very moment. Now, among all these issues, the biggest headache is the ongoing impeachment issue. While you were gone, there were 3 hearings on the impeachment. I wonder if you had seen it live or seen the reruns or whatsoever, and how you feel about it.
Well, Thursday, I did not see it about coming back, but that was with Taylor in Kent, both administration people related to the Ukraine. One that charged the affairs of the Ukraine, and the other is the ambassador to the European Union. And of course, the European Union's going through a lot of things with Brexit in England. And then Friday was Marie Yovanovitch, who was the ambassador appointed by Obama to be ambassador to the Ukraine. And then, like every president comes in, and I haven't studied what percentage of ambassadors are replaced by somebody else, but they're all kind of political appointees related to a party that the current president is a member of. And so, and also, a lot of these ambassadors are chosen because they were good supporters of the president and probably donated nicely to the president. So it's not bribery, but it's just part of the deal, okay? You reward your great people, but also I still don't know why some people accept these ambassadorships, because you have to leave your home and you go to another country, and it's not an easy job. So I'm not sure I'd want to be an ambassador someplace. But anyway, Yovanovitch was our ambassador, and I remember over the last year or year and a half, a lot of comments about that she was not, very supportive of the President Trump, since he became into office. And also the Ukraine is a country that's been one of the most corrupt on planet Earth for a long time. And the new president, Zelensky, who was really a comedian and a business guy before, he ran trying to reduce corruption or eliminate corruption, which of course is pretty hard to eliminate corruption. We have plenty of it in America too. But so it's normal that there might be a turnover in the ambassadorship, and it's also, if you're president, you want the ambassador to be supportive of you, okay? And then she was replaced before any of these calls between Trump and Zelensky, 2 calls even occurred. So she wasn't privy to anything. She had no firsthand knowledge. I watched 7 hours of her depositions or testimony on Friday, and pretty much it was boring and pretty wasteful of time. And the strategy of our radical left was to glorify her as one of the greatest ambassadors of all time, where most of the people never even met her. So they're just saying all these glorious things, trying to give her pity to turn some attitudes in America against our president. I think they failed dramatically. We had some incredibly brilliant responses, attempted responses by Republicans, but Adam Schiff, who's the chairman of that committee, it's very interesting because you can see what it would be like if we ever elected a socialist or like that, because he'll never look at anybody talking to him. When his eyes get big, they get really big, when he's telling untruths, and he did everything he could possible to shut up the Republicans from asking questions. I encourage everybody, please look at this and study him, because it's exactly what it would be like if we had a socialist country. Our individual disagreements in liberties would be controlled by those that are obsessed with power. And it's I beg you to watch. It's boring, but watch.
Let me explain myself.
I love it, yes.
Please. As a newsman, as a media person,
Yes, sir.
I support Constitution.
I hope so.
As long as the Constitution allows the impeachment, such as Amendment 27, I have no problem with it. So whoever does it, however you do it, just go ahead and do it.
There has to be a fake basis for it.
But the issue is that you really have to have a ground,
Right.
certain ground,
Right.
to do it. For example, Watergate, right?
Valid impeachment.
For example, the tie of Bill Clinton,
Right.
right? So you really have a story there.
Yeah.
You really have an issue there.
And they lied to the Congress and
All
the
right.
country.
The cigar of Clinton,
Yeah.
the
Everything.
tie of Clinton, Watergate of Nixon,
Yeah.
right? So, of course, Clinton and Nixon belong to different parties.
Right.
And they did it equally.
Right. Right.
They did it equally without the partisanship involved,
Right.
right? So
Yeah,
the back
with bipartisan
the
investigations.
bipartisan investigation. So you did it one time to Clinton, or no? You did it one time to Richard Nixon.
Mm-hmm.
You did it one time to Bill Clinton.
And they actually did
Richard
it to
Nixon
themselves.
backed off.
Yeah, they
right?
did it to themselves.
Mr. Clinton was excused, so on and so forth. So that the country learns, once again, America is intact.
Yes.
America is never be challenged by any of the wrongdoings.
Right.
Be it a person like a farmer,
Yeah.
be it a person like the President of the United States.
See, the law should
Now-
be, yes.
What I want to say is that I want to check with you,
Yes, sir.
through the 3 times of the hearing,
Yes.
including the 3 times before,
Yeah.
including all these about 1 year of investigation though, have we come onto anything solid like the cigar of Clinton,
Right.
like the stand tie of Bill Clinton, right?
Yeah.
Like the Watergate equipment, so on and so forth?
Right.
Have we seen anything of that nature?
Let me tell you what a Democratic congressman stated in words from his mouth and from his soul. This whole thing is, he's not saying this, this whole thing is a farce of making up challenges and stories that have no direct proof or direct evidence. This congressman said, hearsay evidence can be more valuable than direct evidence or proof. Now that statement, in my opinion, is beyond
Made by a
insanity.
Democrat?
Yes, it was. That hearsay evidence, because that's all they have. They have no direct evidence of anything with Russia, with the recession, and with the Ukraine. You do have direct evidence of Joe Biden, a candidate, saying that you got 6 hours to fire the prosecutor looking into it, or you don't get $1 billion. That's direct evidence. But there's none here. So it's all from the very second Trump was inaugurated, this deep coup attempt has been formulated, and they're just obsessively committed to destroying.
All right, let's
him
take
as
a short
president.
moment out. We come back, we really want to find
Yeah.
out who did what exactly. All right, so we'll be right back, my dear friends.
Everything is
We
expected.
continue to work
It's
on
like
it now.
seeing John Wayne.
My name is Paul James. I host this news every morning.
And a Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, my lovely audiences, my dear fellow Americans. Welcome back to the East-West Show that is exclusively sponsored by Wolfers, the Belgian royal family designated brand of jewelry with 400 years of history and hand-forged by 10 generations of the #1 craftsman on the global earth. Together they stand for a testimony to the spectacular and the share of their royal glory. And that brings us back to the show. We'll continue to what's left for the last segment with my friend Ken Hemming, a special commentator. And of course, to be fair with you, he is a Republican. I'm a non-partisanship person, and we just wanted to see things on the fairground.
Right.
On the fairground, we wanted to find out this: who did what at what time, for what, and when. I mean, other than that, we don't think there's anything necessary to continue going.
That's correct.
So now it is confirmed. So now confirmed and confirmed by the news, both from the left-hand side or the right-hand side, though, there was no finding, specific, significant finding at all. Am I right?
Yes. By the way, I would clarify that I will vote for whoever defends our Constitution the most. And I have voted for Democrats before. And so anyway, I live for the Constitution. But yes, with the Russian thing, they had Mueller, the special investigator, special counsel, spent 2 years,
That
$30
page
million.
was over, right?
It's over, and they
It's
don't
over,
mention it
yes,
anymore.
uh-huh.
And it was all a hoax. It was a hoax. And then they went, oh, our economy's bad. We're going to have a recession. Well, America
And
does,
with Zelensky, there's none either.
no, Zelensky, the current president of the Ukraine, and their second in charge said, there's never been any pressure put on us by President Trump to investigate the 2016 activities of Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's son, and Joe Biden. What's happened there is unbelievable, okay? Because Hunter Biden has no knowledge in the industry. You know, he's getting all this money.
Hunter Biden is the side of the story. Let's focus on
okay.
Donald Trump, right?
Right.
Did or did Donald Trump, or is there any evidence so far found out
No.
that Donald Trump did say, you do this or you don't get this?
No, and also there's nothing wrong with that. In negotiating around, look, we put out a lot of money. I wish we'd cut our foreign contributions down personally, because we get very little back. They still hate us, and you know we don't benefit much. But no, and Zelensky says no. Number one, they got the money. They got the money. And number two, they deny that there was any pressure put upon them. There was a discussion because it's a famously corrupt country. Please look into the corruption related to the 2016 election.
Okay, let's do
That's
this.
all it was.
Let's do this. I believe the core of the issue is that Hunter Biden is the son of Joe Biden,
Right, who was vice president then.
who was a vice president back then.
Yes, sir.
Suppose Hunter Biden is me. If I were Hunter Biden,
You'd be in jail.
yeah, if I were Hunter Biden, no, I want to prove my point.
Yeah.
Right? Could a president say, you go invest Jack Shaw,
Well, you know,
or you don't get my aid?
well,
Is it legit for a president to use that as a chip of negotiation?
There's a difference between bribery and negotiation, okay?
No. I'm not talking about bribery.
I know that.
I'm talking about chips of negotiation.
There is
chip for negotiation
always tit
in
for
the
tat.
international affairs.
There's always negotiation. I mean, we're not going to just send $18 billion to Russia
I know.
fight against
My
us.
whole point is
Yeah.
that if Hunter Biden had not been Hunter Biden, though,
Yeah.
is it legit for a president to use some chips of
Right.
or of negotiation?
But he did not use them because he.
No.
I know.
mean, suppose he did it.
It's-
just assume.
I think
Just
it's
assume he did it.
Which is exactly what happened with Biden before. And so, yes, look, countries have to earn our money to help them with some cooperation, one would think.
Like say with Iran, though, you destroy your equipment, you get this,
Well,
or otherwise you don't get it.
and we sent them $1.8 billion, and they did nothing. They did not comply with any of the Iranian.
My whole point is
Yeah.
that is the President of the United States
Yeah.
right, allowed to use some chips for negotiation, international negotiation?
For 200 years, it's been happening. Of course, you want something for what you're giving.
Suppose even if he did,
Yeah.
right? Now, the fact is that there's no
not a
evidence that
crime.
he did it.
No, there's no evidence he did because
right.
he didn't do it. There's
right.
evidence he did it.
Okay.
Here's where President Trump, was pretty brilliant. He said, "Here's the text for my conversations with Zelensky. There's nothing in there." And so, because I think the Democrats or whatever we call them would never thought the president would release it. No president should release the details of a communication with another head of state, because then other heads of state will not think they have privacy when talking to our president. That's a very big issue. But he did it, and then our impeachment-oriented party, and it's all partisan. There's no bipartisanship in trying to find something.
On the other hand, on the other side of the coin, though, did the Ukraine government investigate Hunter Biden?
They did nothing.
They didn't do it.
Yeah,
they
did
didn't
nothing.
do it.
Right. They should.
But they should, whatever, that's their freedom.
Well,
That's
and
their
also,
freedom.
so George Kent had put the Obama administration on notice in 2016 that, or maybe 15, that Hunter Biden being on this board of directors for Burisma, which Kent also said is a very corrupt organization.
Yeah, of course.
And-
I remember
and
the
then-
hearing,
then, yeah.
at one of the hearings when asked that, how much do you know about the subject field?
Oh, nothing. Yeah.
And the answer was that I don't think I know more than anybody else.
No, and he also stated that he felt he was only on that board of directors because his last name was Biden. He says, "No, I don't think I'd have got this job without."
No, he didn't say that
Yes, he
directly.
did.
He
He
did
did say
say
that directly.
He did say no more than the rest of the folks.
I know he said that too, but he also said that he doesn't think he would have been appointed if his last name was not Biden.
All right.
It was all Biden influence into Joe Biden and the administration to try to help Ukraine in its own way.
I have no
also
problem with
China.
the,
The same
I
thing.
have no problem with the Biden family, Biden brother or son. Father and sons.
You don't?
I don't. I don't
do.
have a problem with them. But the thing is that to drag it into the story, into the whole thing of the impeachment, to serve as a ground, and the ground is not solid though.
There's no ground,
That
yeah.
gives people an impression about the quality of the impeachment.
Well, let me make a really nice comment, okay? America is bored with this. They're tired of hearing about all these attacks on Trump, and the whole economy is ignoring it. As this third day of impeachment was going on, our Dow Jones hit over 28,004. So business doesn't care about this at all.
Previously, you used the term
At all.
farce, right?
I could consider
You
it.
did say it several times.
And I'll
it
say
is
it
a
again,
farce,
yeah.
right? So, can we conclude,
political-
or whatsoever, it's a political farce?
It's a political coup farce. And I believe it with, I put my life on it because I see it. I look at it every day.
But the question is why people still do it. In politics, they always will value what is the positive or negative side if it happens.
Well, and none of this would be going on now if Hillary had won. The day before the election, she had a 93% chance of being president. And
Hillary has her problem altogether. I mean,
right, but
the other categories.
Because Hillary and a lot of Republicans are in that deep state that they have the power more than we think they have, and try to control our people. President Trump is not a politician. He's a businessman. He comes in, he sees, I saw him interviewed in 1986 by Dick Cavett, and Cavett says, do you think you ever want to be president? He says, only if the country needs me.
After all, whenever the word deep state is mentioned, things are turning over to a different category.
Yes, sir.
Right. All right, my dear friends, let's take a short moment out. We come back, we want to pick up the DACA issue, where there's lots of discussions going on, and I would like to share my views with this gentleman, Mr. Ken Hemming. Stay with us, please.
Everything is unexpected and strange. It's like it seems wrong way.
My name is Paul James. I host this news.
And a Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, my dear friends, my lovely audiences, my dear fellow citizens of the United States. Welcome back to the East-West Show, hosted by Jack Chow, exclusively sponsored by Wolfers, the Belgian royal family designated brand of jewelry that has 400 years of glory, glorious history, and handforged by 10 generations of the #1 craftsman on the global earth. Together, it stands for, the name Wolfers stands for a testimony to the spectacular and the share of the royal glory. Back to the show. With Ken Hemming, a special commentator, and I, we are doing the wrap-up of the bi-weekly update. In doing that, though, we really think it cannot be a wrap-up without wrapping the issue of DACA in it. And I will really want to share with him my point of view and lots of views of my friends around me. For the past 2 weeks, ever since President Donald Trump brought it back again on the table, though, and the whole thing, which had been quieted down a little bit, being stirred up. So, your take about the DACA issue, your take about the position of Donald Trump, please?
Well, let's remember what DACA is. It was an executive order. Now, I am not an expert on what executive orders are proper and what are improper, but some are constitutional and some are not. Now, I believe this DACA order by President Obama, it was discussed pretty extensively as possibly or probably being unconstitutional at the time he put it in, years ago. And now President Trump is trying to have and is going to have the Supreme Court review the issue as to whether it was constitutional or not, and if it wasn't, to reverse it. Now, and he's not saying I'm going to go grab 800,000 people and throw them out in 2 days, from America, but that it will reverse the impact of the DACA declaration that people that came here young with their parents, dragged here or brought here by their parents, would have some special treatment because they weren't aware enough of what they were doing. So I want to follow the Constitution. If it's unconstitutional, I want it reversed.
All right. Of course, yes. I appreciate the fact that you tell me your mind, and plus, you're right. You have your constitutional right to speak your mind. Though,
right. Sure.
Okay, now, but I have to really to argue with you on this issue. Okay, now, first, for DACA, the Deferred Act of Childhood Arrival.
Okay.
That's the whole thing, right? And was it constitutional or not? And
We'll know in 2 weeks.
the definition does not come from the President of the United States, whoever.
Right.
The Constitution comes from the definition comes from the Constitution.
Yes.
As long as the Constitution gives the President the right to issue a presidential order, the order, whatever he issues or she issues, the President of the United States issues, is legal, is constitutional.
No, that's not true.
No.
It's
Let me
just not
finish.
true.
Let me finish. The quality of the issue itself, though, is not important. What is important is that the Constitution does allow President of the United States to have the right to issue a executive order.
Only if it is a constitutional executive.
No.
Oh yeah,
No,
but Jack.
you're not being executive, right? We're talking about the definition, right? So now, for example, right? If this presidential order
Right.
is to raid Iraq,
Yeah.
is to bomb Iran,
Right.
right?
Right.
It is constitutional because Constitution allows the president to do so.
Only Congress can declare war.
No.
But
Not
the
declare
whole point
war,
is-
just a bombing.
yeah. The
No, I haven't finished.
president in its executive district
No.
has no ability to make law. He's changing a law.
I haven't finished.
Okay.
Finished. All right. Now there comes another president. Again, it is Constitution that allows him the right to deny the previous presidential order.
Not if the
And in
previous
his
was
eye,
constitutional.
in his eye, he may declare it unconstitutional. That's his cup of tea.
He has no
not
power
the
to
nature, not the nature of the order itself.
Only the Supreme Court determines the constitutionality.
All right. Now,
Only the Supreme
now you're
Court.
talking. Now you're talking.
Yeah.
Right? Is neither an Obama, right, nor Trump,
Right.
Neither nor.
Yeah.
Right. But the Supreme Court. Why don't we just wait another Supreme Court decide?
We are. Right now, that's what's happening. We're waiting it, and they're going to be coming out with their determination
And
very soon.
all right, you want to bet on me? You want to bet with me?
Yeah, I bet it's unconstitutional. DACA was unconstitutional. I'll bet. Anything you want.
All right, I'll bet. Well, what I want to bet is that how we want to deal with is 860,000 of kids.
Well, that's different for whether it's constitutional or not. But it will be declared unconstitutional. Now, the whole problem comes because our Congress and Senate have failed for decades to reform our immigration laws because they are not working together.
You're not
for the
blaming one
betterment.
party singly, right?
No, I'm blaming them both.
All right, you're
They're
blaming
pathetic
both.
that they haven't
that
worked together.
I agree.
Absolutely.
That I agree. However, none of the parties truly wanted to resolve the problem.
Tell me why.
They want
I
the
agree with you.
problem to stay there as a subject and as a topic. So later, whenever they want to talk about it,
Yeah.
they talk about it.
So then they can use it as a political issue, and that's
Yeah,
exactly
it is a political
what the
issue.
Democratic
Better
Socialist Party
they
is doing.
let the political issue stay there
Right, because they don't want to end the
whenever
issue.
they want to talk.
And that's very sad and evil. It's very sad.
All right, no, now, in that case, those kids, are they victims of the political execution,
Well,
in the political fight?
That's
they
very,
hang on.
But our country is the victim of their illegal entry into our country.
No. That's not the issue. I'm talking about the partisanship, right? As long as the partisanship is concerned, I have proved
That?
if President Obama, now a person who gave DACA the right to stay legally, right?
No.
Why wouldn't he, during his 80 years, do something to totally resolve the problem?
He didn't want to. And don't forget, Jack, at Obama's first term, they had the Senate, they had the
And
House.
he deported-
and they never did anything. Oh, he deported
He
tons.
deported quite a bit of
Right,
them.
because in that case, he was following the law.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now
That's a
so
very good point.
Whatever I say is that none of the parties, neither the Democratic Party nor the Republican Party, wanted to do the immigration reform so that to have the problem resolved forever.
And we totally agree that they failed in their duty to resolve the issue.
They both
I
failed.
sathe that, yes.
They both failed.
Everyone,
All right.
including the presidents.
Now that with this hanging over there as the old problem
Yes, sir.
that is stretched into the current president, though.
Right.
If Donald Trump was smart, he would not single himself out to go against it,
Why?
so that to lose something,
You know,
lose his
when you
reputation,
follow the
lose his support.
I think he'll enhance his support, Jack. So we disagree on that.
No, he will.
Yes,
he
it
will. He
will.
will lose.
No.
He will lose. All right?
American citizens want people to come here
now.
legally.
Okay, now it's time to talk about the kids. Now it's time to talk about kids.
Right.
Right? Let's be humane, all right?
Yes and
You
no.
have a kid, I have a kid. Right? When we bring them to travel, it was not their own will.
They weren't traveling.
They
were
arrived here.
invading our country.
They arrived here without their fault of their own.
Their
They were
parents-
1 year old, 2 year old, 3 year old, 4 year old, 5 year old. They were minors
So what?
as a child.
Ignorance of
Now
the law
you blame
is
them
not a defense.
for their parents' problem?
Yes.
No, unfair. All right?
Fair isn't a word.
If it is my father's problem, you'd better not blame me.
Let me tell you, Jack.
No.
Right now, they're trying to push these kids, okay, and whatever, ahead of people trying to get here legally. You want to talk about fair?
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
wrong.
All right, you're right.
That's
And
wrong.
that's a different issue.
Put them at the back of the
I'm
line.
not supporting.
That's
I'm not
fine.
supporting that.
Right.
I'm not supporting that.
That's what they want.
I am supporting giving them the equal right to go on the right route. However, they have to start from the tail of the line.
And that's what somehow will be worked out.
Yeah. All right.
It will.
All right. But deportation is what
Those-
I totally against.
That's fine. Those DACA dudes and dudettes will not be deported. A little less.
Well, yeah, a little left, right?
Little less
Anyway, we have to continue this. Anyway, my whole thing, if I want to sum it in one sentence, that we're human beings. We have to do things in a humane way. All right. Anyway, okay, that wraps up, my dear friends. We'll see you next time. Thank you for watching, and thank you, my friend.
Thank you. My life is
All right,
complete again.
good.
I'm here.
All right.